Which one?
Oh, I think it's 11. I think.
11. FC?
Yeah. Would it be 12?
FC.
The middle?
Yeah,
Okay.
because F would be a midpoint.
Okay.
All right, guys. Here in a bit. So when we're looking at this here, so the notes for today, 6.4, we're talking about midsegments. The midsegment of a triangle is a segment that connects two midpoints on the sides of a triangle. Every triangle has three midsegments, three lines that connect the midpoints. And they have these here. So M to P, so it's connecting those two midpoints. N's a midpoint, so NP, NM, MP, PN, all of these are midsegments. And they have some special properties to them. One of the first special properties is that they are going to be parallel. So the midsegment and the side opposite it is going to be parallel. So DE and AC are parallel to each other. And interestingly enough, the midsegment's length is half the length of the longer side. The segment connecting the two midpoints of a side of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half that side's length. So if this here was 10, DE would be 5. And if we think about it, and I'm going to go back to the previous one. So MP is half the length of AC, yes? Well, that also means that AN and NC as well as MP would all be the same length. Because point N is the midsegment, it cuts it in half. So these three lengths would be the same. We can also say that AM, MB, and NP would have the same length. And the same would be true for BP and PC. Just cut it in half. So if we look at this here, this tray, that is all midsegments. J, L, and K are midsegments. Now for the first one, number 11, it says that JK is parallel to what line? Well, its third side would be YZ. Yeah, now we could have named it in other ways. We could have said YL, LZ, ZL, any of those sides. Any way to name that side, well, actually not YL, YZ or ZY. Either one of those would work. Because it's not the whole line. Yeah. It is technically parallel to it, but we just want to talk about the whole line. Now, JL would be parallel to XZ or ZX. Questions on this here? You ready for the next one? This time we're saying XY would be parallel to what? KL. Now, number 14 is a little bit different. It's saying JY. So J to Y. Now, we said J is a midsegment, or midpoint. So that means it also has the same length as Now we need to determine what other length would also be congruent. So here, this length is half the length of its third side. So cut it in half. So this here is the midpoint, so 2 halves. This is going to be the same as those two. Does that make sense? So JK, yeah, so JK over here, this line would be the third side for YZ, and it would match up with those. So it's almost like the ones that are parallel are the ones we look at. Any other questions? You ready for the next one? Next two. So if we look at these next two here, we have JL, which is going to connect to what? Can be congruent to XK, NK, Z. These three segments are going to be congruent. So JK. Questions on any of this here? Okay, let's look at the next one. For these here, we want to find the value of X. So given DE is a mid-segment, so we know what? So we can say 26 over 2 half the segment. So we can take the length and cut it in half. So we can say 26 divided by 2 is 13. Questions on this here? Let's look at the next one. Is DE the mid-segment or the third side? The third side is, the mid-segment's half the length of the third side. So if we go this way, we divide it by, or multiply it by 1/2. If we go the other direction, we're going to multiply it by, because going from third side to mid-segment, we decrease. From going from mid-segment to the third side, we increase. Yes. Because we can multiply it by 1/2, divide it by 2 to go from third side to mid-segment, or we can multiply it by 2 to go from the mid-segment to the third side. Questions on this here? This would be 6, because E is the midpoint. Mid-segment connects the midpoint of two sides. We can't say A or D, B, or B, D, C are 6, because we don't know what each one of them is. All we know for sure is that they are congruent. Not necessarily. It could, but not necessarily. Any other questions on this here? So what would X be? Because again, it's connecting the midpoint. E is a midpoint, so EC and EB would be the same.
Okay, where does this trick come into play?
So what's EC?
4.8.
EC. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. Any questions on anything so far, guys? Let's look at what we have here. AB is 3x plus 8. GJ so this is what they've told us. GJ, so the length of the third side, is 2x plus 24. AB, the mid-segment, is 3x plus 8. We know that the third side is equal to 2 times the mid-segment, yes? That's what we've been using. We've been using this and just multiplying by 2, dividing by 2. We can still use this even though they gave us equations. Because we know what the third side is. Third side's what? 24. The mid-segment is? We're still doing the same thing, setting it up the same way we did it before, but this time we have 2 equations. Yeah. We're going to distribute it, yes. So the 2x plus 24 is still going to stay the same. The other side, we'll do 2 times 3x, which gives us, and 8 times 2 is 16. So we just multiplied the mid-segment by 2 for them to be equal. Now we just need to solve for the value of x. Now the first thing we can do is subtract 2x, which will tell us that 24 is equal to 4x plus 16.
I got it from the
Now we can subtract, guys. Focus up here. So 4x is equal to Does it matter which one we plug it into? Yes and no. Because if we plug it into AB, 3 times 2 plus 8, 6 plus 8 is, so AB. Now, I'm going to get a different color. Let's do this. Yep. Yeah, because it's just twice the amount. Questions on this here? So they tell us that AC is 3y minus 5, and HJ is 4y plus 2. Well, we can say that 4y plus 2 is equal to 2 times 3y minus 5. Because the third side is equal to twice the mid-segment. So we can multiply by 2, telling us 4y plus 2 is equal to 6y minus 10. Well, yeah, so the smaller one is the mid-segment. Yeah, because they told us 4y plus 2 is the whole length. Mhm. Now, if they told us that 4y plus 2 was HB, we would just set them equal. Because if it told us it was HB or BJ instead of HJ, they told us it was one of the two, we could just set them equal and solve. At this point here, we could subtract the 4y from both sides, telling us 2 is equal to 2y minus 10. Then we could add 10 to both sides, telling us 2y is equal to 12. Divide by 2, telling us y is 6. Three times 6 minus 5. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 5 is 13. So AC is 13, which means HB is, because AC, HB, and BJ are all the same length. Questions on this here? Questions on anything we've done so far? We need to see another example of one of these here. G, H. That's it.
We don't have like.
I just say hang.
The whole packet.
It could be worse. It could be worse. It could be a test.
Thank you. Are we doing it on?
Huh?
Are we doing it on? That's all you said is. There's 4 on each page.
Wait, can I see that? Mr. McClendon, does this look like a hamster or a cat to you?
Both.